Today we are going to start fifth unit, that is disinfection of water. The topic includes the introduction to disinfection, its need, how the disinfection process takes place, that is mechanism of disinfection, factors affecting disinfection, different types of disinfectants and different methods, and we will study chlorination in detail. We will study different numericals, how to estimate the dosing of bleaching powder. So this will be the entire content of this chapter. As like earlier chapter, we will first of all recall all those treatment parts. So our entire water treatment starts from bar screen. I will again recall everything so that it will be better to understand this. So bar screen will be there to remove floating object. Aeration fountain will be there to remove odor and gases. Then we are going to add some chemicals as which are used as a coagulants for the clarifloculation process, where in this clarifloculation tank the sludge will be removed, means at level suspended particles will be removed, and the supernatant will be allowed to pass through the process of filtration, and in filtration non-set level fine suspended particulate matter will be removed. Now the process of disinfection is responsible or has a significant to kill the bacteria. So in short, the disinfection is nothing but killing of bacteria. We frequently use these approaches commonly to disinfect the water, like boiling. We sometimes we add potassium permanganate, and a very popular one is the chlorine. Talking about the objectives of disinfection process, the prime objective is to produce microbially safe water by removing, inactivating or killing pathogens. So our ultimate aim to kill the pathogens. It primarily aims for safety from the risk of waterborne diseases. These waterborne diseases are nothing but those diseases caused due to the impurities in water. There are different approaches. So disinfection of water can be achieved by removal of pathogens by simply filtering. So we also always observe our government campaigns like Pani Gala, Naru Tala, like that. So filtration is one of the pathogen removal approach. Then inactivation or killing. So destroying the cellular structure of the microorganisms is one of the approach to kill the microorganism, to kill the cell structure of microorganisms, and so that it will make the inactivate, and then subsequently inability of the microorganisms to divide and form the colonies. And as the colonies will be restricted, definitely we can control their spread. The immediate treatment before chlorination is filtration. Our filter plant may contain bacteria. Their filter media also may be having some bacterial infection, and so or other microorganisms. So it is necessary after coming out from filtration unit, it is necessary to disinfect the same. One of the prime objective of water treatment is the removal or inactivation of pathogenic microorganisms to prevent the spread of waterborne diseases. And this disinfection is the process which is more significantly utilized for this control of waterborne diseases. Talking about the necessity of disinfection, the one of the important one is the microorganisms in water are most often associated with waterborne diseases like typhoid, cholera, paratyphoid, dysentery. So, to control these diseases, waterborne diseases, disinfection is necessary. Along with this, conventional filtration and excess lime softening may provide removal of microorganisms only to a certain degree. And so, for the efficient removal of these microorganisms, filtration is necessary. The treated water must meet microbial contamination standards set by regular authorities, and these contamination standards are always defined in terms of the presence of microbial colonies. That is, either we have to measure MPN, most probable number, or fecal coliform fecal streptococci count, that is FCFS count, to know what is the presence or how much the microorganisms are present in terms of their colonies. It is necessary to study the water related diseases. These water related diseases are broadly classified as waterborne diseases. These waterborne diseases are nothing but infections spread through contaminated drinking water. So if your source is contaminated, and from such source if you are lifting up or getting in the drinking water, then these infections are termed as waterborne diseases. Then water wash diseases. These are the diseases due to the lack of proper sanitation and hygiene. For example, poor or unhygienic storage, improper or irregular cleaning of tanks, water taps are maintained in unhygienic conditions. So all and diseases caused due to these conditions, these are called as water wash diseases. Then water based diseases. These are the infections transmitted through an aquatic invertebrate organisms, like our typical one I just said, that Naru. That is an aquatic invertebrate organism. So cholera is another one. So these viruses, these pathogenic bacteria are due to these water-based diseases. These are transmitted through organisms. And last one is water-related vector-borne diseases transmitted by insects that depends on water for their propagation. Maybe like frog, maybe water snakes. These are the few animals which are normally found in abundance in in the vicinity of water bodies, and diseases spread or transmitted through these insects are called water related vector borne diseases. This table indicates different pathogens and corresponding disease cause. So you may go through this table. This includes the first, these are the bacteria, various bacteria and concerned diseases. These are the viruses. Hepatitis A and polio is the major diseases caused due to the viruses, and these are the parasites. Parasites means which are dependent on or which grows on other food media. The disinfection process takes place in either way. The very first approach or first way is straining or physical removal by nano or fine grade filtration. This is the mechanism you can observe in our domestic water purifiers, where you can get the straining operation. That is nothing but a physical removal, but whichever strains or whichever filter media, whichever filter are being used, these are a very fine grade or which offers the nano filtration or micro filtration. And another approach is altering or destroying structures or functions of essential components within the pathogens. Means here the cell structure of that pathogen is getting altered or destroyed. This process taken place into various stages. In the very first stage, alteration of cell permeability, where agents such as phenolic compounds and detergents destroy the selective permeability of the membrane in cell structure. Damage to cell wall is due to the radiation in case of UV treatment, heat in case of if you are using boiling as a disinfection approach, and highly acidic and alkaline agents alter the protoplasm. So highly acidic and alkaline agents like chlorine, ozone, these are the highly oxidizing or highly acidic alkaline agents. So these can alter the protoplasm of cell structure. Heat coagulates the cell protein acids or bases denatures proteins, resulting in the lethal effect. So inhibition of enzyme activity take place at this stage. Alteration of colloid nature of protoplasm, that is oxidizing agents like chlorine, alter the chemical arrangement of the enzymes and deactivate them. And so, after all, as the rupture of cell structure or death of cell takes place, definitely it will be the total destruction of functioning the pathogen. So thus the disinfection mechanism works. The process of disinfection gets affected by microbe types and their resistance to disinfectant, type of disinfectant and their mode of action, water quality and reactor design, its mixing and hydraulic conditions. In case of microbe type and their resistance to disinfectant, the vegetative bacteria like Salmonella, Coliforms, etc. have low resistance. Enteric viruses like Colifax, HAV, noroviruses, etc. have moderate resistance. So these are the bacteria which have their own resistance to disinfection. So sometimes we need to change the quantity and quality of disinfectant to get the effective result. In case of type of disinfectant, they may be strong, weak, or moderate. So depending upon their oxidizing capacity, they have been characterized under this category. Then definitely water quality. More the suspended and dissolved matters, more the pH, turbidity, temperature. These are the different parameters due to which or depending on which the type of disinfectant we need to choose. Unless otherwise, if you choose the random disinfectant for the treatment, this may affect the relative parameters or relative characteristic of water with reference to potability. Higher chlorine dose may affect pH. Higher ozone may increase the toxicity like that. And last one is the parameter, that is reactor design and its mixing and hydraulic condition. Definitely reactors are nothing but the vessel in which you are going to treat, in which we are going to add the disinfection, or in which, or it is a vessel in which you are going to perform the process of disinfection, and how this vessel responds to the chemical reaction, that also matters. So in the majority of conditions, plug and flow type or mixed reactor systems are recommended for proper mixing as well as proper efficiency, or to achieve the maximum efficiency of disinfection. At the same time, we must think about the material of reactor. These, as the all majority of the disinfectants are strong oxidizing agent, the vessel or reactor to be fabricated must have good resistance against oxidizing property. And so while deciding or while choosing any kind of disinfectant, it is necessary to think about all these parameters. In the next session, we will study the chlorination process in detail.